And I continued this after moving to Singapore. I established my own company. We do a lot of solutions now, but our flagship is a telehealth solution, which helps hospitals and clinics communicate with their patients remotely, which has a lot of advantages for everyone. So that's a very quick introduction about me. And yeah, I established this company back in October 2017. And until now we have already a mature product which is being sold in a few countries, and it's working. Technologically it works very well. So that's what we did so far. So the problem we are trying to solve is we want to avoid going to the hospital unnecessarily. You spend an hour going, an hour waiting, and an hour coming back, and you're not alone. You have one of your relatives who have to bring you to the clinic, and you're sitting with people who are either sick or in direct contact with sick people, so you get infections. So it's really a very horrible story anyway. So we want to avoid this if it is possible. If the clinical case allows, we want to prevent this from happening. The benefits for the patients are a lot: avoiding infections, or avoiding losing money and time. And for hospitals, it's really a very important issue, because if you look at Singapore, it's very small. You can go from one end to the other in an hour. But in countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, we're talking to a client in Maldives, where you need a boat to travel, and in the whole of Africa, where it's actually dangerous to move from point A to point B. All those places require remote communication to enable this service. And environmentally also, with less car travels, we have less harmful effects on the environment. So it's practically that everyone wins. So what we offer is a dedicated solution with a few modules. Now I have to increase 2 modules here. One of them addresses the outpatient clinic, one talks about the emergency department, ambulance department, visiting a patient when he is inside the ICU and you are not allowed to go in. And we also have a nice solution for providers who offer home care for people who need to be hospitalized for a long time. It's a very heavy financial burden and burden for the family to keep visiting them all the time. So we have a nice solution that enables the hospital to monitor the patients remotely as well. And we added a couple of modules just last month. So we have some early adopters right now. We have 8 customers, 5 doctors, 2 hospitals, and 1 life coach. Really, it came out of nowhere. He was interested in having the service for his clients, and it works technically. And right now we have, actually tonight we're going to sign a new hospital, and hopefully by Sunday next week we will be signing our 2nd client in Singapore. So things are moving, and our sales in India are about to start by the beginning of May, and the same in Nigeria, which are very, very big countries. So currently what we cover is our countries mainly in the Middle East, where I come from, where I have been managing business all over Middle East and Africa for a lot of years. That's why it was easy for me to set up this distributor network. Now I'm actively working on expanding this. So as I said, I already have a distributor in Nigeria now. They are going live and selling in the beginning of May. Whenever I hire a distributor, I go there, visit customers with them, and really the impact is always positive. When we went to Nigeria, we visited a few hospitals, and the feedback was so nice. Everyone was saying any future-looking institution would be interested in this solution. That was something which is really important for us to hear. So we are expanding very quickly horizontally, and our monetization is very simple. We charge per call. We don't charge setup fees. Very small amount, only $300, and the rest is per call, so that we make money when the doctor makes money. And we secure a minimum of $1 per day, so $30 per month from every doctor. The market opportunity here is really huge, because we are talking about 11 million doctors worldwide. And if we consider all the technical challenges, the different specializations, the different cultures, people like to be touched by the doctor. They think he has magic in his fingers, which is not true. But anyway, at the end of the day, we'll be targeting a market of about 1 million clients, which is really huge. And our competitive edge compared to the solutions which are available now, of course you have heard about My Doc, Doc Anywhere, Hello Doc, and so on. They have a lot of flows which are driving them really down now. On one hand, they are like an open market. You go and you have a list of doctors, oh I like this one nose is too big, this one eyes are too narrow. So you decide based on what you see, not what you know, and if you have a referral, you will go to the doctor you know. So it's like a supermarket, and doctors don't like that. They don't like to be put on the shelf and people choose them. The other thing is that the data of the patient, they belong to the application which have them. It doesn't belong to the doctor. And that's a dilemma in healthcare. I saw your advertisement. There are a few companies now trying to bridge this gap. Doctors are very territorial. They like to keep the patients for them. It's my patient, my data. I am not allowed to show it to anyone. If any of you goes to a hospital and require a report of whatever interactions you had, you will get a final summary. They never give you the details of each and every step. They give you a very nice invoice full of things that you have to pay, but you really don't know what happened. So, and that's for actually for legal reasons, because they do mistakes like everybody else. And if those mistakes are discovered, they will be sued. So they like to keep this information for themselves. So in general, healthcare is a very private business so far, and sharing information is not really popular there. So for those reasons and others, the common platforms are not really doing well. When I started talking to investors here in Singapore, I actually found some resistance because they say, we tried it before and it never worked. These platforms, they never have proper catchment, they cannot get enough doctors on board. And my challenge now with the investors is that by the end of the year, I have to make 2,500 doctors. Right now I have around 100, and I still have 8 months to do the rest, but with India coming in and Nigeria with more than 150,000 doctors, India has 1 million, I'm sure we'll be able to easily reach the 2,500 mark. So that's about the competitive landscape. Our team is very small. I am doing the business, sales, and building the distributor network based on my contacts for many years. Believe it or not, most of the distributors I have nowadays, I just made their agreement over the phone because I know them for many years already. I have a development team sitting in Egypt, and we want to start expanding. We want to do more online sales because this is one of the best ways to reach markets like the US and Europe. And we want to add to our team to strengthen the development part, because with higher demand we need people to do the work. So our expansion plans are actually going in two directions. We expand horizontally by adding more distributors, so we cover more and more. And at the same time, we have to increase our team to respond to the increasing demand. And at the same time, we increase our sales vertically, because the more people get used to the service, the more they would like to have it. And then more doctors will be obliged to provide it, and so on and so forth. So all this is really driven by demand when people get used to it. Investment-wise, that's where I'm an engineer, so I'm not a financial guy. I've been doing sales for a lot of years, so I can sell and I can make things. But I cannot talk really well with investors. So what I offer investors now is that I value my company now at 12 million. We discuss for hours about that. I end up giving in sometimes. They end up not being convinced most of the time. But anyway, what I offer them is that whatever they would give, I would pay back 10% of the revenue that we will make until whatever they give is paid back, and they can keep the equity. So it's like a decreasing loan. They are buying the equity for free, practically. And the reason why I need investment is actually not because I cannot afford the operations. We are a very lean and a very small organization. But I want to expand quickly. Time to market is really of essence here. So whatever investment I need will be used to reach bigger markets quicker, like China with 2.5 million doctors. That's a market to target, and I cannot speak Chinese. I don't know the culture there, so I need to hire someone who does it for me. And for that I need investment. So for investors I give this package. I managed to get one investor, a good friend of mine, who gave me $12,000. It's a very small amount, but anyway, it helps. Now I'm talking to, in the beginning I was talking to investors here in Singapore, but then I actually found a very nice treasure back in the Middle East. We have a lot of rich people who don't know what to do with their money, but the investment culture there is completely different from here. That's why when I was in Dubai the last time, I managed to talk to some of them, and we are still negotiating. Hopefully some of it will work. But anyway, it's going in the right direction, in my opinion. And if I get investors, I just expand faster. If I don't get, I continue what I'm doing, and I will still grow, but a bit slower. So that's the whole idea. Okay? Thank you very much.